Welcome to the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast. Join host Marco Torres, along with expert guests, as they deliver incredible, proven solutions to your marketing challenges in each power-packed episode.
Welcome back to the Marketing Boost Solutions Podcast, where we dive into the strategies and stories that drive growth and innovation. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome a true pioneer in the world of business development, Andy Buyting. Andy is a leader in scaling businesses through powerful integrated print and digital marketing strategies. His thought leadership journey began when he published his first book back in 2007 and the launch of his first magazine in 2009. Since then, he's become a recognized authority in brand positioning and print marketing, using his unique blend of traditional and digital tactics to deliver powerful and exceptional results. He's a two-time best-selling author with titles like How to Win Clients and Influence People, and his most recent book, Double Sales with Zero Salespeople, where he reveals how to merge sales and marketing into one seamless, effective strategy. Get ready to be engaged with our conversation filled with insights on scaling businesses and leveraging the power of print in a digital world. He helps businesses go from good to great. Andy Buyting, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Yeah, thank you for having me, Marco. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. And thank you for being on the show. We've been a couple of weeks with the Thanksgiving holidays and what have you that I haven't been on the air. So I'm thrilled to be back as well. So
Yeah. Perfect.
All right. So how to win friends and influence people, rather yours is a little bit twist to that. So tell us about your first book and what inspired you to write that book. And then we'll jump into your new one as well.
Sure. Yeah. So, I think a big part of my scaling up and business journey was when I entered this program at MIT. It was with Inc. Magazine, MIT, an entrepreneurs organization. That's where I met a gentleman, the facilitator and speaker, who had become a mentor and an advisor of mine. And that his name is Vern Harnish. And I have to give Vern lots of credit because he's the one who taught me about, in the early days, this would be 20 years ago now, he said, you need to own the ink in your industry. He said, whatever your customers are reading, have it come from you. You need to set yourself as the authority in your marketplace. And he said, every CEO should write a book. And, so anyway, that inspiration led me. At the time, I was in retail business, Marco, and we had multiple locations. And I remember talking to him and, I said, how do I use that strategy? And he said, well, you should write a book. So anyway, my first book came out on, it was the retailer's roadmap to success. So how to be a successful retailer. And that was in 2007. And I wanted to do something for our customers. And he's the one who said, well, why don't you publish your own home and garden magazine? We're a retail store chain. And I thought, no one in our industry is doing that. What if we were the retailers who had our own magazine? And that idea really stuck. And at that time, I'd been doing a newsletter. It's something I've always believed in, some form of content marketing. So I was probably a huge early adopter of content marketing. Back in the 90s, we started doing these newsletters that we would mail out 4 times a year. And I said, what if we replaced our newsletter, 8-page, 2-color newsletter, with a 32-page full-color magazine? And we started doing that and started sending it out to 30,000 customers, and it just started growing. But we were the retailer who published our own magazine and really set us apart. So that's how the journey, that's where it all came from.
Super. And it's one of the things that's been on my mind to do. I just recently, days ago, for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I published my first ebook, actually, with our
Awesome.
our workbook to accompany our masterclass. So by the way, quick plug for Marketing Boost. If you're part of our group here and you haven't heard about the Marketing Boost Masterclass, I'm going to promote it right now. So let's take a break to hear from Marketing Boost Masterclass, and we'll be right back.
Ready to transform your business and skyrocket sales? Welcome to the Marketing Boost Academy Masterclass, your ultimate guide to building customer loyalty and driving revenue. Today's customers crave unforgettable experiences, and that's where travel incentives come in. Connect your brand with dream travel memories to build loyal customers who love what you offer. In this masterclass, you'll learn how to generate leads with contests and giveaways, strategies to boost brand loyalty with exciting campaigns, ways to reward customers with trips to Cancun, Bali, Las Vegas, and more. Our program provides step-by-step campaigns designed for maximum results. Week 1, bucket list flash sales. Create irresistible offers. Week 2, just because rewards. Surprise customers with gifts. Week 3, shop and travel to your rewards. Motivate bigger purchases. Week 4, referral powerhouse and reviews. Drive word of mouth and trust with customer feedback. With Marketing Boost Academy, you're never alone. Enjoy group coaching and workshops, Zoom tech support, and a vibrant community to guide you every step of the way. Thousands of businesses are already thriving with our strategies. The Masterclass isn't just a course, it's your roadmap to success. Don't wait. Sign up now at marketingboostacademy.com and watch your profits soar.
You just heard from marketingboost.com. If you're not signed up for Marketing Boost yet, go check it out and go to marketingboostacademy.com where you can get free access to our masterclass showing you exactly how to implement our campaigns using incentives to grow your business, including how to solicit reviews and feedback from clients with a little bit of an incentive in there to motivate your clients to give you their honest feedback and help you generate a constant flow of reviews. So we're back with Andy here, and we just talked about your first book and your magazine and how that, I've had that idea, that thought as well, but never pulled it off. So let's continue down that road, Andy, and how you guide people into print in today's world, which seems like, a dinosaur.
Yeah, it
How-
does. It does.
So tell us how print is still relevant today, and what is one of, I was reading one of your comments or videos, I forgot where you say, if you're not using print or if it's not working for you, you're not doing it right. So
That's right.
give us some ideas on what we got to do different.
Sure. So with us, we firmly believe, that when we did our own magazine in the home and garden business, it was interesting because that idea, just to show you the demand and how powerful it can be, that idea caught the attention of other garden centers owners in my associations across the country. And a bunch of them were asking, could you do this for us? And it was really interesting, Marco, because I remember one meeting I went and I said, listen, everyone in the room, this is something that we're doing. If you're interested, I'd look at doing something coordinated and doing it with a number of people in non-competing markets. And I thought, if I have maybe 4 or 5 different people interested, then, maybe there's something there. Well, I walked out of that one meeting with 14 purchase orders and a huge distribution because we were putting out magazines across multiple marketplaces. And that became that's where Tulip Media actually originated from, was that became its own thing, became its own business and spurred up. And what was interesting is the magazine, that print magazine, it is what sets you apart. It sets you as the authority in your marketplace. And when I was doing that magazine, we spun out a separate business, Tulip Media, started growing it in the home and garden space. And I remember my insurance agent, he came to me and he said, that magazine idea that you're doing for the garden centers, could you do a business magazine for our insurance agency? And we said, sure, yeah, we could do that. And one thing had led to another. And all of a sudden, then we're publishing millions of magazines and distributing all across the United States and into Canada. And what was interesting is that became the huge differentiating factor that our client partners were looking for. Because in print marketing, we became really good at helping client partners coordinate content, managing the project, having the magazine designed, printed, and distributed. to make it super easy for client partners. But the magazine is what sets them apart in the marketplace, because we all know digital marketing, and digital marketing still holds. I mean, we do a lot of digital marketing. It's still very, very critical. But in my first book, How to Win Clients and Influence People, we talk about the three legs or the three pillars of a good integrated content marketing strategy. And you need digital, you need print as well, because digital will give you the quick hits, get you out there in front, top of mind, day to day. But the print gives you the longevity. Because when you think about it, if you create a blog article, let's say, or you create an ebook, are fantastic to send out on a regular basis, but they serve different purposes, because content that's received digitally, you either consume in the moment, or oftentimes it may be missed. Whereas print will stick around, and it does help to set you apart in the marketplace. And even to this day, Marco, like I said, even though, a huge portion of our business is digital marketing and providing qualified marketing leads to client partners, the fastest part of our business, the fastest growth area, is the customized print programs, newsletters and magazines,
Wow.
because it's so different.
So speaking of that, let me ask this question relating to my business. I've told you a little bit about our community of entrepreneurs that subscribe to the Marketing Boost a platform to access incentives that they can use to enhance their call to action. And my thought on a magazine, for simplicity's sake, at least out of the gate, was to create one magazine that kind of explains everything that Marketing Boost is all about, kind of
Yeah.
the workbook masterclass, what I have designed as an ebook. Really, it kind of covers everything that we are about, and the implementation strategies, etc. And really, it would be one that I deliver to all new members when they first sign up.
Yeah.
And that way I am not constantly trying to update and do a newsletter style expense, because my product is a low ticket offer. By the way, if you're new to Marketing Boost, we start at only $37 a month. So this is not a high ticket, program where I'm going to be spending a whole ton of money on delivering a magazine every month. But one printed magazine that, as you say, my thought is it's probably going to hang around the kitchen table, the office desk, shared among other peers in the office. And it might hang around for several months as people go back to the magazine / workbook to implement our strategies and campaigns. And that's where I thought I would just do one that I can make, and cut the cost of production, because I'm doing one and order a large bunch of them, and then just keep the same one being delivered out every month for new subscribers.
Yeah, we work with client partners. Some client partners do a new issue every month. But many of them do every other month. Our most common rhythm is one's going out quarterly, but we even have a number that do 2 a year, or even 1 a year. Especially with that, and that would be exactly what in your case would make a lot of sense, is to do a 2025 issue that comes out in January 2025 or February. And, you might mail it to your top clients. So, you print, I don't know, 3,000 copies, mail out 1,000 of them, and 2,000 of them are, kept at your office to to send out throughout the year, or to hand deliver. If you can send, this is a copy of our own magazine, but if you can hand out, a copy of a magazine filled with, because a lot of this work you're doing already, like filled with blog articles. Think of content you're already producing. You said you did an ebook. I'm a big fan of creating content, really good content, and leveraging multiple platforms to get that word out there. So a great article can become a blog article. You can keyword optimize it, make it work well for your website. It can become a LinkedIn post. You can, we help client partners turn their articles into videos that can be leveraged on social media, and it can go into a magazine, right? Because not everybody consumes content the same way. A lot of people, actually, when it comes to business content, there was a study done a few years ago by Deloitte, and it was this title of the study was digital is growing, but print is not dead. And it basically stated that depending on the genre, but one of the interesting stats was if it was business content, 84% of people, when they receive business content, they will print it out because they want to read it in print. They don't want to read it on the screen. They want to read it in print. 84% of business content is consumed in print. So I found that very interesting. So if you're sending out a magazine, and you do, like we have a lot of client partners that do one a year, and they update the 2024 issue, 2025 issue, and so on, to put in new thoughts, new ideas, new content, new promotions, new messaging, and leveraging that content that they're putting out on their blogs anyway, to leverage it inside of a magazine.
I love it. You're convincing me to move forward with something in print. All right.
That wasn't the intention, but I do
So
want
really, it's not a matter of replacing. Obviously, in today's world, you can't bypass digital, but by the same token, you're saying you can't or should not bypass print, um, which means, do you have any clients? I mean, therefore you have to get people's their business or home address to mail them something. And in today's business world, I mean, I see a lot of digital products sold, even my own. When it comes to the sign up, it's one of the reasons why I've hesitated pulling the trigger on it is I don't actually have everybody's street address. We have a simple sign up process, email, name, phone number. And, I've learned over the years in digital marketing, digital sales, that the more fields required on a sales form, such as the street address, uh, means less signups, so.
Yes.
So how do you overcome that? Requesting and building the database of full business addresses or street addresses to mail to.
So there's a number of strategies you can take there. Oftentimes, we work with businesses where they do have their mailing addresses already because it's part of what they're selling, if they're an insurance company or what have you. But if in those cases where you don't, I know some strategies that we've used. So one thing, if you wanted to target certain businesses, we do buy lists for our client partners, and we can target specific industry codes and marketplaces, size of businesses. So we can actually buy a list for you to target, although those can work well, but it's a higher investment. So a lot of our client partners, I know a number of them that do the one a year, who may not have a list, is they just start small, but they promote to their email list to say, we're publishing this new magazine. To get your free copy, click here, give us your mailing address, and we'll send that out. With every magazine that we do, we also do a digital version. So we do provide all of our client partners with a flip version people can read on iPads and so on. And a lot of our client partners actually do a really good job at promoting their digital magazine we can coordinate that in the background when they flip on that, with a quick sign up form if they wanted a print copy sent to them every time it's issued. So, and that mailing list builds up surprisingly quick.
Yeah,
So
I'm sure. I mean, I have a following, so if I asked for their mailing addresses, I'm going to get a percentage of them for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, as you said, the new signups, I could add a process right after in order to maybe simplify the existing process, after they put credit card in and it's all done. We got the free trial or we got the sale. Then I could throw up, hey, want a bonus? Give us your street address and we'll mail you our digital book, or rather our magazine, or whatever you're calling it.
Yeah, and if you can get into the person's mailbox, for the digital marketers out there, I always ask them, think of the most uncluttered inbox that you own. It's your mailbox, right? So that's where even some of the biggest marketing gurus now are going back to some print marketing, some direct mail marketing, because it's not like the 90s or even the 2000s where there was a lot of competition in the mailbox. If you are getting your custom magazine out there in the people's mailboxes or in businesses' mailboxes on their reception table, you're standing out more than you would have in the past, for sure.
Well, very good point. I can remember a few years ago when, you know, it, the junk mail, the round file, we used to call it, right? Was you get so much junk mail, you just stand there by, as you get your mailbox, you had a trash can next to you and just
Yeah.
jump, dunk, dunk, junk, and then, look at what you need and throw everything else out. And in comparison, you're right. I mean, my inbox emails, hundreds of emails a day, multiple email addresses. Many of us all have, like our junk email that we use to fill out forms here and there and everywhere. And then, your real email for
Yeah.
real business and so on. Trying to manage and control the amount of junk mail you get or in your digital inbox, and then getting a printed piece if it's a business you recognize or a brand versus just a postcard or what have you. You're probably going to keep it around, which is another thing the magazine might do for you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So your journey spans decades of experience. What would you say is the most surprising lesson you've learned along the way when it comes to either print or digital marketing?
I always go back to it. In one of my books, I say the best marketing advice I ever received, I got from my mom when I was 5. And that was, if you have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. If a lot of it, we've talked, and a lot of marketers will talk about how to get your message out there. Back in the day, it was deciding which radio station to advertise with. Now it is, do I do a blog? Do I do an email newsletter? Do I do, social media? How do I get my message out there? But the biggest surprise to me and the biggest aha for me, and continues to be, is how important the messaging is. It doesn't matter. Well, it does matter what medium you use, but what's just as important, or if not more important, is what is the message that you're putting out there. So when it comes to marketing, you want to have something good to say. You want to have something of value. If you don't have something of value, it doesn't matter how you get it in front of the person, they're not going to connect with it. So I've really come to appreciate, understanding copywriting and how to create messaging, whether it's in a magazine or on your website or in a social media post, how to create content that captures the right audience, your target audience's attention, and gets them to take the next step you want them to take.
Nice.
So I would say that's the biggest lesson I've learned.
So let's talk about your latest book, How to Double Sales with No New Salespeople or No Salespeople. Let's get into that. I have not had a chance to read that yet, so I can't jump into any specifics of any of the chapters. So I leave it to you. Tell us what's in there that we should get excited about ordering the book, and where can we find it?
Sure. Well, I'll tell you how the title came along and how the inspiration came along. We were growing Tulip Media. So we started it about 10, 12 years ago. And in the early days, we were growing very quickly. People were seeing what we were doing, mostly custom magazines at the time. And we were integrating digital into it. And we were growing quickly, but then we hit a plateau. And we had grown this business up to where we had a sales team working for us, and they were doing outbound sales, because that's the way I started the business, in literally out of the basement of my house. And was reaching out to contacts and networks, trying to sell our products and our services. Well, we had grown this business to where we had a sales team of about 7 people, with a sales manager and a whole sales team, and we had dashboards in the office, logging how many calls and emails went out that day, how many sample packages went out, how many demos were being booked, and so on. What you would picture as a traditional outbound sales organization. Well, the sales had flattened, and I could not figure out how to jumpstart it again. And, we kind of hit a plateau, and the business was growing very, very expensive. So I have 2 main partners, and talking with them and deliberating, over, because we had all listened to this speaker at this business function who completely blew up his business, took a different strategy or different go-to-market strategy. And we all left that thinking, oh my goodness, we need to do this. So long story short, a lot of planning, a lot of thought went into this. But what ended up happening, how I start the book, is when I walked into our office on I think it was on a Tuesday or Wednesday afternoon, I can't remember. And I remember being very nervous, but I actually, one by one, I spoke with everybody on the sales team and let the entire sales team go in one day. So everybody was gone in one day. And I gathered the rest, everyone else that was involved in project management, design, all the other producers and our accountants, so on. And I said, here's what I did. Now, this decision was not taken lightly. It was, we debated it over the last few weeks, but this was the decision we made. And we're going to go all in on digital on really understanding and being the best we can be at digital marketing and converting people online, because our traditional growth strategy was not working and we needed to shake things up. So I remember we were going into our quarterly planning session and we had set a quota for the quarter. And I said, I want to keep the same quota. And I remember my right-hand person, she was furious. She said, don't set us up for failure. Banged on the table. Don't set us up for failure. We haven't hit that quota in 18 months. Don't set us up for failure. But at that time, I had a new marketing intern, a young gentleman who was not afraid to try anything. And I said, no, we're going to do this. We're going to try different things and we're going to go all in on, reaching people online, supporting with our magazine and growing our business. And wouldn't you know it, 2 weeks before the end of the quarter, we hit our quota for the first time with 0 salespeople, no salespeople in the organization. What we did, and then what that ended up becoming, what we learned inside that time, or leading up to then and during that time, and what we've since rolled out to many of our client partners, is our approach to digital marketing to bring in new clients. And Matt, this young intern named Matt, he was not afraid to try anything. And we tried a lot of things. A lot of things failed, but a lot of things worked as well. And we converted it so that instead of being outbound sales oriented, we worked with good digital marketing strategy to bring in inbound sales. And then our production managers, our graphic designers took those sales calls, people who are excited about what we were doing, and got the prospect excited about what we were doing. And I said, your sales line is this, is, look, Marco, we would love to create this magazine for you. When can we get started? And as soon as you said, let's start next month, then, send it off to accounting, they'll send off a contract and we'll be off to the races. So we literally hit our sales targets with no salespeople for the first time in 18 months. And then it's just started growing. So we've used this model ourselves. Now, I'm not condoning letting all your salespeople go. I want to be straight. I want to be very, very clear with your audience, because I get a lot of flack for that. But so we work, a lot of insurance agencies. And what we say is, instead of hiring new salespeople, instead of hiring new producers, insurance producers, why not do this digital marketing strategy? And we'll make your current producers, your current sales team, that much more effective. That's why we feel we can double your sales with no more salespeople on staff.
Yeah, putting them in front of more qualified people more often versus a lot of follow-up dialing and so on and so forth, I imagine.
Exactly. Yeah. And as a digital marketer, the way I always put it, the way I outline in the book as well, is that even for our own company, we watch website traffic. We look at all these stats, the social media engagement, all of this, like everyone else does, because they're different levers to pull. However, I really, really don't care how many people land on our website, because if none of them are converting, it means nothing. I get no value out of it. All I care about, so our entire marketing strategy that we work with client partners revolves around 3 key metrics. Is how many times can we make their phone ring? How many times will people fill out a contact form looking for more information about what they're selling, and how many times can we get a meeting booked in their calendar with a prospect who wants to talk to them about what they're selling. That's our key metrics to success. And that's it. It's as simple as that. That's what we drive towards.
Measuring those three dynamics every day and every hour. Can you hold up your book again and point us? I guess it's obviously on. Let me stop talking since we're get on gallery view. There you go. Double sales, zero salespeople. Andy Buyting and Jessica. What?
Embry. Yes,
Embry.
she's my co-author, and I have to give her credit. She's the brains behind everything.
Now, I want to give you kudos. You said if you don't have something nice to say, don't say it. I love your jacket. So tell us about that. And that's part of your branding, I understand. So let me tell you. Yeah, go ahead. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So yeah, we're Tulip Media, and I have a jacket, one red tulip in the sea of yellow. So we help you stand out and become the red tulip in the sea of yellow. And I wear this jacket every conference, everywhere I go. I've got two of them, and it's kind of a trademark now.
How to stand out from the crowd. Cool. We'll be right back, folks. I got a whole bunch of more questions for Andy on how to turn digital, rather print marketing as part of your marketing strategy. And we'll be right back. Don't go away.
Is your business on autopilot yet? Do you have automation in place to capture, nurture, and convert prospects into clients via email, SMS, ringless voicemails, appointment setting? Get all the inbound and outbound marketing tools in one place. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on automating your business so you can make money while you sleep.
You just heard from automationbooster.com, our partner for automating everything you do. If you're in business and you're not set up with automation in today's world, I've been an internet marketer myself since 1996, and I've never seen something as powerful as Automation Booster that allows you in one place for only $97 a month. You have this whole umbrella of being able to set up all of your inbound, your outbound, email, texting, ringless voicemail broadcasting, your funnel builder. Plus, it includes the integration of Marketing Boost incentives so you can automate the delivery of our hotel savings cards, our restaurant savings vouchers, our complimentary hotel stays based on your customer's call to action. So if you're looking for ways to make money while you sleep and automate your processes, everything from your calendar being set up to book appointments and fill your calendar. And by the way, another powerful tool a lot of people use Marketing Boost for is they'll in Zoom calls today for your salespeople, we recommend people offer a hotel savings card, $100 or $200 hotel savings card for booking a no obligation Zoom call with yourself or your sales team, and reward them with the incentive if they show up on time. So now your automated series of emails and texts can be telling people, hey, show up on time for the appointment you made, and we'll reward you with a $200 hotel savings card just for showing up. And that's an example of how you can use a combination of Marketing Boost and Automation Booster to start scaling and growing your business. Back with Andy. So Andy, we were talking about, digital and print and the strategies that you offer with Tulip Media. While you cover the next subject, I'm going to get the screen share ready to show some of your website and so forth.
Yeah.
But let's see if I get that ready to go. Let's see here, share screen. I'm sometimes slow at this. Are you seeing my screen now?
I am, yes.
So we're on your website, Tulip Media, helping achieve your marketing goals. Is there anything on here in particular? I want to make sure everybody knows the links to this website and his social media page on, again, print isn't dead. Here's his Facebook page. If you're not doing it, print isn't dead. You're just not doing it right.
Yep.
So, again, that's part of the process here. All of these links are down in the notes below. So if you like the content we're bringing you, please give us a like and share or ask any questions on within the links below. What can you tell us about your website here? What would you like folks to do when they get here? I notice you've got to get a quote link and book a call.
Yep. So, with any website, we talked before the break, we talked about, the messaging, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. When you think about it, people, especially with websites, and anytime we do any digital marketing, and anybody who's doing digital marketing needs to look at it this way, is you need to start with your website. Like, forget about SEO, forget about blogs, forget about social media, forget about all those ways that you can bring people to your website. First, you got to work on your website. I say, if you were to open a retail store, would you market your store and put ads out there everywhere and invite people then into your store and then set up your store and merchandise your products and so on? No, you would do the exact opposite. You would set up your store, you'd merchandise the products, you'd train the staff, you'd sweep off the front doorstep, and then you would invite people in. But with digital marketing, we go straight to, okay, how do we raise more, Facebook likes or followers on LinkedIn, or how do we get more website traffic when we don't have the messaging? Our website's not ready for people. And that is the one area, because as soon as you have somebody click through and land on your website, you want to optimize those people for conversions. And the first thing is you want to have a clear, it needs to pass the grunt test. So in 3 seconds or less, when people land on your website, they need to understand what it is that you do. And if they can't feel like they understand what it is that you do, and it clicks with something that they need, they're going to move on, and they're lost forever. So they need to pass the grunt test. And that's why we have simple messaging on our website. Oftentimes, even with client partners, I was talking with one the other day, and he showed me his website. He said, "What do you think?" I said, "I'm going to put it in very simple terms. Too many words. You have too much there. So achieve your, we have right along the top, achieve your marketing goals and objectives. Very quickly, you understand what we do. You also, when you have the right core customer land on your website and they're resonating with your messaging, you want to make sure that it's very clear what you want them to do next. Now we have, get a quote and book a call, but you'll see that book a call button several times as you scroll down. Now, is there any doubt what we want you to do next? Well, we want you to book a call. So, it's there several times. Other things you need to look at is you want to make sure that you're explaining your process clearly. This is such a huge thing. And I have clients that are, have a challenging time with this, because you may have the far superior product or the superior solution, but if your competitor can explain theirs more simply than you can, you're going to lose. Because if people, they don't want to spend too many mental calories trying to figure out how you can help them. It's got to be simple. So in our case, we have 3 simple steps. There may be 27 steps in those, but to explain it in 3 simple steps. One is book a call. The next one is to get a customized solution for your business. And the third one is to start receiving right there. Actually, if you just scroll down a little bit right there, book a call, get a plan, grow your business. 3 simple steps, right?
Right.
You don't want to make it too complicated. Don't make them burn a lot of mental calories trying to figure out what you do and how you can help them.
Yeah, I'm probably guilty of that. I've got too much explanations on. But yeah, you've got a really nice sales funnel here. Your sales page, I like it. The call to actions are simple and easy, and that's what too many of us don't do right without a huge amount of navigation. And you've got your services, about us, and so on. Super.
And the other thing too is if you scroll just down, right there, talk to their fears. We have feeling stuck when it comes to marketing your business, because most people reach out to marketing managers. They're tasked by the president or CEO or their boss to grow the leads, and they don't know where to start, right? And because people have real fears and doubts, and you need to tap into that to connect with them. And one of the best pieces of advice that I've ever heard comes from a gentleman by the name of Clay Clemens. He's popular for he's written ads for Google that has paid on commission, that has paid him millions. So he's known as one of the best copywriters in the world. And he said, when you're trying to connect with your audience, too many of us approach that as if we're doing a presentation. We're coming up and let me tell you what we're all about and what we can do. And he said, what you should do is picture yourself sitting at a bar and somebody comes and sits next to you and they start talking with the bartender and they're complaining and discussing challenges that your company can help solve. Would you approach them and say, if you came up next to me, say, Marco, I couldn't help but overhearing, what you were saying. Look, I'll tell you, this is what Tulip Media can do for you. No, you'll lose them very quickly. Instead, you need to engage with them. If I was sitting at a bar, you came up, sat next to me, and you started talking about, I'm really having a hard time scaling my business. I would, instead, I should approach you and say, Marco, I couldn't help but overhearing, your challenges there. So tell me about your business. Scaling is really hard, isn't it? Like figuring that model out, that's very difficult to do. Tell me about what you're doing now. Have you looked at this, or, tell me more about that. But you need to connect with them first. And then you need to present yourself as a guide and just say, Marco, just in case you may not be aware, but actually we have a company that helps people like you really help scale their businesses. And, we've helped several client partners like yourself, go from here to there. And so you've got to ease into that relationship, because if you just come and start to present, this is what we're all about, you're going to lose them. So in your messaging as well, that's why as soon as you pass the grunt test, you know what we do. It's, do you feel stuck in your marketing? Because most people, they know they need to market, they just don't know where to start. And when you're asked by your boss to fix marketing so it produces more leads, that's a real fearful place. So we connect with them there. And you need to meet your customers where they are at. You can't ask them to come to you without first meeting them where they're at. And then you need to guide them along the way.
Powerful, powerful. Thank you. So let's get back to your next call to action. I mean, if somebody is listening to this and has questions, do you on there you offer book a call and and get a free quote? What kind of an investment is, what would you say somebody should prepare to invest in to put together their first magazine, let's say for the 3,000 number that you mentioned at the beginning of the call, or 5,000 print? Or should they print, in order to get the right pricing, do they need to print like 10,000 to get the right price per print or per printed magazine, and then, deliver them as they are needed and so forth?
Yeah. When it comes to print, economies of scale are a big thing, right? And that's just the reality. So the way I look at it is, you can do to put a whole magazine together, to do a digital magazine. You're into it for probably $7,000 to get it going. But the way I always put it, to create this is a 16-page magazine, let's say, as an example, this for consulting firm out of Tennessee. And to do the very first one, it costs about $9,000. Every other one, it's just pennies, because you're paying for paper, staples, and ink. And if you're distributing, a postage stamp, because all the work has gone into creating the content, the design, getting it print ready. But you can get into a digital only magazine, like putting it out there digitally, for in that $6,000-7,000 range. Print, usually starts at 9,000. Every other one is pennies. So, we have some clients that print only 400 copies, but you're going to be investing 9,000 plus. If you go to 3,000, you're probably going from 9 to 10,000, dollars. So just to give you a ballpark idea.
Right. So once you've spent the money to write, for the copywriting and the graphics, the layout, the whole ball of wax, then it's pennies to scale it versus
Yeah.
your first 500 prints.
Yeah. and doing all the press setup and everything else. Because once the first one comes off the press, every other one is just paper, ink, and staples. Paper, ink, and staples.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're now if you're a small operation, even the first 400, I mean, if you've got a high ticket enough item, that 400, if you're printing 400 even a month or a year, depending upon what you're converting, what you make on each client, it certainly could be worth it to get those 400 prints out the door to the right type of client, and
Yeah.
so on.
And I gave an example of a 16-page magazine because it's an economical size to send out as well. But, we do a lot of client partners have, 4-page newsletters or in a magazine format, or 4, 8, 12 pages. We do all shapes and sizes.
Can you share a story? What would be an example of somebody who did take your advice, did add a printed magazine to the mix, and what happened?
Yeah. So we have a couple of stories we outline in the book. One that I love sharing is we work with a Firetruck manufacturer, and their average sale is $750,000. So it's a big average sale, right? And we work right across to a print shop that is selling printers and toner maintenance packages. But Metal Fab, this Firetruck manufacturer, we did do some some digital strategy with them, as well as their print newsletter. Now, they did a newsletter because they were targeting fire chiefs and fire stations across the Northeast, across New England, and so on, and into Canada. And so we did this printed newsletter that would go to the fire stations. And you think about it, we want to raise their brand awareness in the minds of fire chiefs. And we took a very deliberate strategy on how we created the messaging, because fire chiefs that are in charge of buying a fire truck, they buy a fire truck, they last for about 20 years. They often, in rural areas, they have 2 fire trucks. So they're buying a new fire truck once every 10 years. So we actually position that company as the resource to go to when you need to buy a fire truck, meaning we will share with you the common mistakes that are being done when buying a fire truck, and we'll help you with that. We will, if you want to learn how to write an RFP and to get up to date on new technologies and what are available for fire engines, you want to contact that company. And we started doing this newsletter instead of a magazine, because a magazine is a lot of information. It's also entertainment, but we want it to be a little more serious. And we want it to be, that nice balance between some interesting articles that they want to read, but also we want to be received as something that is, serious, and that they would put a lot of value and value into, and a lot of respect to with. And so we started doing this newsletter that would go out to all the fire stations, and we talked about how to write an RFP, how to avoid mistakes when buying the next fire engine, what the new technologies are, as well as on the back cover, we had a lot of firefighters, what they end up spending a lot of time on is, they're at the station a lot. So we always have a recipe created for firefighters. So it sat around, people held on to it. It went around the station, but it helped elevate their status. It helped elevate their authority in the marketplace. And, in short order, what's interesting with these guys is they always had a manufacturing lead time of about 8 months. So if you ordered a fire truck, it was going to take you 8 months to receive it. Their lead time has gone from 8 months to over 2 years, because so many fire chiefs have really engaged with the content. They've engaged with the newsletter. They're getting this beautiful newsletter every quarter. They're doing 4 times a year. And, the recipes, nobody's throwing it out, because there's a recipe and there's a firefighting themed crossword puzzle in every one. And we coordinate all that for them. but it's helped elevate their status, their stature in the marketplace, their authority in the marketplace. And because of that, these fire chiefs are coming out and getting their guidance, their help, their assistance in writing RFPs. And what they found, and this, when we first spoke with them, they said, if we respond to a cold RFP, our win rate is 10 to 15%. If we have an influence and we influence that RFP and we can help write the RFP, our win rate is over 60%.
Wow.
So now we said, we got to get you in front of more fire chiefs so that you're actually advising them how to write the RFP. And that's how they position themselves. And that newsletter has really helped propel them.
And the RFP stands for what now?
Sorry, a reference for proposal.
So as they're proposing that to the city council and what have you for the purchase of a new one, and why they're selecting this one over another one. And
and they'll help the fire chief write the reference for proposal that goes out to all fire truck manufacturers to quote. Here's the specs we want you to quote on. Sorry, I should have clarified that. But yeah, if you can get involved in help writing the RFP, then their win rate shot up through the roof for obvious reasons. They can influence what they're putting out there to all their competitors as well to quote on. And
and they know what the results of that's going to be, where they show up winning. So
that's right. They can, if they can influence the RFP, other competitors could quote on the same RFP reference for proposal or request for proposal with the same specs, but when they influence it, their win rate goes way up. So we needed to get them involved at that point. And by sending out, they're getting fire chiefs reaching out. We had a conversation with him just the other day. And he said, somebody in Northern Ontario reached out that's been receiving our newsletters for the last 4 years and finally ready to buy another fire engine, and reached out to us for advice on how to write that request for proposal.
So that 16-page magazine or newsletter type thing, which is probably the smallest of a magazine you can create. It's really 8 pages with a fold and the staple in between. So when you grow that, you grow probably at 4 pages at a time or something. So, or
when you grow, you always grow 4 pages at a time, because you just need to picture the logistics, right? You need to grow, another page at a time.
So 16 to 20 to 24 and so on. If you're looking to add more content to the thing. What is the average cost of, you've got the cost of producing and print, and then what about mail nowadays, actually putting the post stamp on it and delivering?
It depends on the strategy, but it can vary anywhere from, we see it going out the door for 45 cents a copy. We leverage our contract rates with US Post. But 40, 45 cents a copy on the low end, up to 80 cents a copy. And the difference would be is if you're distributing 10,000 magazines into one marketplace that is dropped off to one US Post depot and distributed from there, the cost goes way down. But if you're doing 10,000 magazines, or even 1,000 magazines, but distributing, sending to the fire stations across New England, is quite expensive, because it's across a lot of geographies, and there's not a huge distribution in each geography. So it
right,
you're
not mailing the zip code and everybody in that zip code. So it's just boom, 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 door to door drop off, versus like in my case, I'd be mailing to business owners around the US, all over the place that use them.
Yeah. It'd be a little bit on the higher end now because of that.
And that would probably be in the $1.50 range, or it'd still come in around?
No, it'd be sub $1. It'd be in the 80-cent range.
80-cent range. Yeah. And of course, that probably depends on whether you're putting it in some sort of a clear sleeve, or what type of.
Usually we don't put it into anything. We keep it.
Oh, it just has like a tape closed and then the stamp on it, or whatever, or the prepaid.
If it's stapled, it can go through the mail just like that. And it just gets a sticker on it that
for the mailing.
For the mailing and the postage.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's some valuable information and ideas for everybody there. What's the best, what's your favorite campaign you've ever done, or project you've worked on that still brings you pride today?
Well, I would say, there's a number of them. We did magazines for some real well-known, I'd say some gurus, right? So Mike McAllowitz, we did a magazine for. We did magazines for Jack Daly, for Vern Harnish, and and being able to even have distribution large enough with valuable mailing lists. Because another thing we didn't even touch on is that if you're creating a business magazine, we have connections with some of the biggest thought leaders out there where they will be a guest contributor to your magazine. So we work with Tom Peters, Pat Lencioni, Gary Vaynerchuk, to create content that go into the magazines of our client partners. So, I really enjoy that. But one of the things that I'm most proud of is when we had a client partner in Vancouver who called us up, and she said, I've got good news and I have bad news. And we said, okay, well, what's the bad news? Let's start there. She said, the bad news is I've got to hire a bunch of new salespeople, producers in insurance speak. We need to hire more insurance producers. I said, well, what's the good news? Well, the good news is your digital marketing that you're doing, we're filling our calendars with calls. Like we can't keep up with the demand. So that was a really good news. And these guys have been growing, and they keep acquiring other insurance agencies. They're kind of rolling up and amalgamating a lot of Vancouver and Victoria-based insurance companies. So they keep buying insurance companies and just roll them into our digital program, and drive up the effectiveness of their sales teams that are there. And then we back it up with a magazine, and the whole structure, the whole system, is done really easily and really effectively, and providing, you hear them speaking, and they said, yeah, we've got such a much larger team. You're a big part of that. And we want to thank you so much. And just the how much they're growing and how many more people. We keep coming back to that ourselves. We look at the Firetruck manufacturers, the insurance agencies, the consulting companies, the different industries, you name it, the law firms, and we learn about how they're growing and employing more people. And I think that really, at the end of it, that's what really gives me a lot of pride is, we actually did a road trip and visited the Firetruck manufacturer because they put on a second line. He said, we're employing about 40 more people here than we were just a couple of years ago. And it's because of the increased demand.
Now, we've got a lot of insurance agents and a few insurance agencies that used our Marketing Boost incentives very effectively.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, where does the insurance agency use a magazine for the end consumer, to recruit agents, a combination of both? What is the strategy of the magazine within the insurance agency world?
We've actually used it for both, but mostly I'd say 80% of it, we do a lot with insurance agencies all over, and most of it is done to create a business magazine to help grow their commercial insurance business. So they're using it for that. So they're creating content that's relevant to, for contractors, for, for offices, for different types of, landlords, anything and everything. They're creating content and they're sending out the magazine to businesses in their marketplace. And that's probably, it's still probably, it's one of the areas where we grew the business on. It's still one of the largest parts of our business is working with insurance agencies. But it's primarily to build their commercial insurance business.
Got it. So yeah, just to fill in the gap for anybody listening, with the insurance agents, a lot of them that are using Marketing Boost are using the incentives. Actually, one of the most popular ways our insurance agents are using the incentives is to support local nonprofits in their community, take their sales hat off, and they're using our incentives as rewards, gifts for golf tournaments, for fundraising events. And they sponsor the event by providing a bunch of our complimentary hotel stays and restaurant vouchers, hotel vouchers to provide to the fundraising event and what have you. And then they can be at the event rubbing shoulders with the philanthropist and what have you. And they also get a chance to usually tell their elevator pitch about what they do and explain how the incentives work. and they're generating more leads and they know what to do with quite often. So I'd love it to end it there.
Yeah,
Folks,
I love it. And that combined with a couple of magazines in the mix, then they really set themselves
boom.
apart.
Yeah. I mean, you
too.
could be
So
at
that's
the
great.
event, hand out magazines and, say, hey, don't forget if you're ever in need of this, that, or the other, this is what we do and
That's
so
right.
on.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let me, we've got another call coming on board just now. Folks, if you like the content we've delivered to you today, please do us a huge favor. Make sure you like and subscribe to the show and share this with somebody else, or give us your comments below, give us a rating. Go look up marketingboostacademy.com, marketingboostacademy.com to get our newest ebook and our masterclass training on how to use and implement 4 campaigns for you, done for you, built out with all the blueprint, everything you need to launch 4 campaigns using Marketing Boost incentives. And all the links are below to get a hold of Andy and get a free quote. Show your book one more time, if you would, Andy.
Yes, of course. There it is right there.
Double sales, 0 sales people. Go look for that, order that. I'll be ordering
It's
mine.
on Amazon.
We'll be talking about it here in the group as well. Thank
Excellent.
you, Andy. Thank you so much for your time. We look forward to everybody. Thank you. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Marketing Boost Solutions podcast. Thank you. Thanks for listening to another episode of Marketing Boost Solutions podcast with your hosts, Captain Marco Torres. Now it's on you. Take the next step now. Go to marketingboostsolutions.com for more on how you can wow, delight, and surprise your clients with the most amazing draw card on the planet. So stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty for knowledge. See you next time.